Good evening, everybody. I am your host, Manny Lagunes. Michael Bowie with me. We are the story of. If you don't know, you won't know. So I'm going to let you know. This is the story of the one, the only, here present, Michael Bowie himself. Michael, it's a pleasure to be with you. Well, hold on. It's all right to see you. How are you?
Wow, we're kicking it off like this again. I'm hanging in there. How about yourself? I see that you're sitting above the table today instead of filming below it, but how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Feeling tall. Um, Doing all right, doing well. Enough about myself, man. You guys already know why we're here. Season two, the story of Michael Bowie. What seems to be like our last episode. Would you say so, Michael?
I would say so. This is the last of the last for the story of Michael. I was going to say myself, but Michael Bowie. And then I'm looking forward to and am very excited to wrap this up and jump into a new person's story. Where you and I will be actually co-hosts, where we're not somebody where one is the interviewer and one is the interviewee. We are going to do it for real. We've been through a lot, I think. We've had our trials and tribulations, our technical difficulties, upgrading sound and everything else, and we're still going to continue to improve the show and have it move forward to a great direction. So I'm excited to wrap this up and move into that next person's story.
Perfect. Cool. I like it, man. You guys heard it here first, folks. Season three coming at you at the speed of light. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date. Season three is coming up quickly. For now, though, let's get right into it, man. Let's close your season with a bang. Last episode, you gave us a little insight. You spoke to us a little bit about Bowie Films, which is of course your company. We are live here at Bowie Films, the story of, produced by. But tell us a little bit about what sort of had to happen for Bowie Films to sort of become a company. What had to happen for you to actually get started with your own film company, Bowie Films?
I don't remember if I briefly talked about it, but when I did the independent movie version of a legend story, that's based on my book series, another company kind of took on the role of being the main independent company, not funding because I funded it, but like producing, affiliated with the project, the actual film. I didn't have a company during then, and I kind of made up Bowie Films just so I can have a whole bunch of different companies. And then down the road, I said, you know what? If he owns his own company, how can I not turn this into something real like him? So, I went out and, well, not went out. I mean, technically you do it online, but, paid for whatever the cost was and made it official. And Bowie Films became a real company, its own legal entity, legitimate legal entity.
Okay, you paid the cost to be the boss. Okay, I like it. What were some of your first projects as a company? Once you got Bowie Films up and running, what were some of the first projects you took on?
Well, I know that many of them I've taken down,
Okay.
but anybody that's really been a follower of my company and or the things that we've done, I started doing a lot of sketch comedies. One of the guys that was a main actor, he played John Lewis inside of the film A Legend Story, the independent movie through Frozen One Productions. Shouts out to Frozen One Productions, my boy Jay Frozon Grigsby, Z Lady Killer.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Keep it going. Okay.
That's my guy. That's my dude.
I
But
like it. I like it.
but me and the guy that played John Lewis, his name is Nick. And Nick and I mean, we were going ham, like constantly just improv filming comedic sketches, things that just came to our mind. We'd be like, hey, you want to film today? Like, we didn't know what we was going to film. We just get around, start shooting the shit and say, I got an idea. Or, maybe we did have something that we were going to go on and just got together and just improv winged it. And a lot of really good, memorable skits came out of this. Some that people, like I said, that have been avidly following Bowie Films will know of Man's Best Friend, which is a very popular skit. People love it. So if you haven't seen it, check out Man's Best Friend. Another one that I did was insults that people really love. I mean, there's a lot of different skits that I did with Nick, and those were kind of our main attractions. Those were what we were doing as a company to try and get monetized. So we were doing all these skits, and we eventually did get monetized with YouTube. But the way it worked way back when is you had to have so many views and hits and everything in order to make money. So unfortunately, we didn't get into the thousands or hundreds of thousands, but we didn't get into hundreds of views on many of the videos that we did, and so that was a plus. You know, we were trying to put our best foot forward, and things changed in Nick's life, and he kind of fell off and went to kind of pursue other things, and so it died off. Bowie Films died off. We were at a momentum of getting monetized with YouTube to earn money. We were at a point of getting recognition for the skits that we were doing. People loved them, and it just went away kind of, and it became a point where I had to regather my thoughts. If I wasn't doing this with Nick to try and build a team, to build a company, then what am I going to do? So I was kind of down for a while with doing skits and doing things with the company to kind of regather my thoughts.
Okay. Now, okay, so that's a good place for you to lead me into my next question, because I want to know about some of the problems that you had managing Bowie Films. Now, some of these things that you just mentioned, obviously you can't control right away. But what were some of the problems you ran into while
Reliable
managing
people.
Bowie?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. You know, Nick was probably the most reliable person at the time, because
Okay.
whenever I needed him, whenever I was like, "Hey, let's film," I mean, he was down and we got it in. But anybody else, just finding reliable people. You know, we were filming, every skit was me and Nick, or just me, or whatever. It was always us that was seen. And even now with the evolution of Bowie Films, you see the same people for a lot of these shows. But the same point is that we're growing. There's a lot more people than just Nick and I. You know, a two-man process. There's at least 3, 4, 5 of us now on this team of individuals trying to grow this to something bigger. But I think reliable people is, and that's not even just this company. I think anybody can say that, people just are not reliable to say, hey, you want to go out? Oh, yeah. And then 10 minutes before, an hour before, I'm not really feeling it. I'm sick. My TV show came on, whatever excuse they came on. I mean, people just, they're not reliable. They back out. For whatever reason, and that makes it very difficult. How are you going to film? How are you going to get stuff done if people aren't there? If you want to film something that takes 4 people and 2 people are not reliable, my car broke down, my girlfriend wants me to come, whatever the case may be, it just slows things down. And I look at a lot of other projects and channels that have many people on their team, and it's like you see them all the time, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people always filming a lot of different videos, and they have a reliable team behind them, and I think that that's really the biggest difficulty. The other difficulty, I think, is funding things. I mean, I am the main person funding everything for my company that I can possibly think of for it to grow, and I work 4 jobs, and yes, no, I'm not Jamaican. But I work 4 jobs, and most of them is to pay bills, and then personally, out of my personal money, put some of that into it, because I was at a point, things have changed now, and I'm sure that we'll get to the future of Bowie Films, but back then it was like I was using a lot of my personal money to buy equipment to try and better the quality, sound and video quality of the things that I was producing for my company. I said, well, if I don't have a team, maybe I'll build up the equipment first and then rebuild a team. So money and reliable people is definitely something that is problematic. Those are really the big 2 that come to mind.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit, because you mentioned a little bit about how Bowie Films sort of had a little setback, right? A little pause when you and Nick sort of split up, went your different ways because of life. What had to happen in order for you to, get that spark ignited in you again and say, you know what, let me continue Bowie Films, whether it be on my own or with a new set of people, with a new team of people? What had to happen in order for you to get Bowie Films back and rolling?
Passion. I mean, it's the
Mm,
same when I went to California. I had passion to pick up all my shit and drive across the country to go and pursue a dream. And then I lost all that passion when my dream got crushed. And I came back and I got a little bit of that passion back and, wrote books and started a company. And then I lost that passion when the company went down again. And I think that passion came back when I said to myself, I need to, if I started this company, if I paid for it to become something legitimate, I can't let it die like everything else. A lot of people really, the biggest thing that they like about me is my willingness not to quit. And I did not want to have started this and not finished it. Otherwise, to me, it had been California Part 2. And, even to this day, people ask me, why would I not go back to California? And I don't want that same question to come up with my company if it died. Why did you stop doing sketch comedy? Blah, blah, blah. And at the time, just a lot was going on. I was working 4 or 5 jobs. I was really, at the end of my stand-up comedy career before I had gone down to work on my book for the last 4 or 5 years. I was at a point doing comedy where I was finally making money. And let me tell you, I mean, even a low budget, you're not low budget, but, what's it called? Like an independent, intermediate, not as popular, not famous celebrity kind of stand-up. I mean, you bake. Yeah. I mean, I remember one of the shows, I made like $200 for 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
On a 10, 15-minute set. Made like $200. Yeah. So, I was at a point where I was making money doing comedy shows, and we were talking about touring. So this is while the company was down, and I was using personal money to buy equipment while still performing stand-up comedy. And then I had got into the era of saying, hey, I was going to write the second and third book. So then I was writing the second and third book, so I stopped doing comedy, which I'm supposed to be coming back to the stage. Everyone stay tuned for that if I do, because I have been writing new material the last 5 years. And trust me when I say, I mean, I go back and I listen to some of the stuff that I have come up with, and I laugh every single time. I'm like, bro, I can't wait to put this on stage. So stay tuned if I do come back to the stand-up comedy realm, because I was killing it for a decade plus, and if I come back, I'm going to continue to kill it.
Definitely.
But yeah, I ended up just saying, hey, I need to build this better. The whole thing, and I hope that everybody that's listening to this takes this for what it's worth. A lot of people hate their job, and they're working for somebody else and their dream. Somebody else had a dream. Hey, for you and I who worked at Red Robin, hey, I want to own a restaurant. And we're the people that are helping them pursue their career of owning a restaurant and becoming rich and famous off of it, or rich or whatever. We're working for someone else's dream instead of creating our own. And for all the jobs that I was working, 4 or 5 jobs, I said, why am I working for other people's dreams when I had my own right here in my hand? That I've invested so much money and time and sweat and blood and tears to try and build something. Whether it had millions and millions or thousands and thousands of hits and views for YouTube or whatever, it was at a point of growing. And I just sat on, how can I make that happen? And granted, I said, you know what, let me rethink how Bowie Films is going to develop. So I started coming up with other ways besides sketch comedy to make money off of the company.
Okay, that's a good segue into my next question. Now that Bowie Films is up and running, if I say so myself personally, I think it's doing well as far as YouTube goes. You guys are putting out material. Well, we are. I consider myself part of the team. We're putting out material, every so often here in Bowie Films on the YouTube channel. What other things does Bowie Film offer outside of YouTube?
So, like I said, I started thinking about other ways to make money besides monetization off of YouTube. So I grew the company as something that I found a lot of people make a lot of money through, and that's through videography for like weddings. And granted, I did some weddings to get like stuff underneath my belt. So no one, I never had paid gigs for weddings, but paid gigs for weddings. I mean, to go and film a wedding and put together a video, they're out there making $2,300. So I mean, that's bank. You know, at minimum 1,500. That's like starting out probably. So
Yeesh.
you know, a day or two's worth of work for 15 to 2,300. I mean,
Yeah.
that's bank. And you know, I also live in Michigan, and Michigan, at least near Detroit area, maybe further out in other areas, might have a lot more money. But there's people aren't out here rushing to try. Can I get a videographer for my wedding? More or less, they're looking for a photographer and a DJ. So that grew it even more. Where I said, you know what, I'm gonna invest more of my personal money and grow the company to where I offer so many services that for weddings that I'll get one of them. So I bought DJ equipment, learned how to DJ. I bought equipment for photography, and things started to roll in. I started to get photography gigs, DJing gigs. I was DJing like all the time for dances at schools and retirement parties, and you know,
Yeah.
all kinds of things and events that people are. I got another DJing gig coming up in a couple months. I got another photography gig coming up. So things have been like coming in more so for photography and DJing than for videography. A lot of times, I mean, videography still comes in. People say, "Hey, can I get I want to put together a video for my company or for this or for that." And I'm like, "All right, you know, this is how much it costs or whatever." So that really helped me start to stop using my own personal money to help grow, because now money is coming in. And then with the books, you know, I have 3 books out, and so money was coming in from that. And now I'm working on growing this company, and if that grows to a significant state, then monies are coming in from that. And then I can, if and it's not like it's always constantly coming in. I mean, there are dry points right now, and hopefully, you know, things pick back up with making money and gaining more gigs. But
Yeah.
the whole dream is to have all of these things going to where I can quit all the jobs that I'm working for someone else's dream and start working for my own, or at least in one that I'm happy with. Because at the end of the day, if you can't work making your own dream, then you can at least work somewhere that you're happy in.
Okay. That's a great point. That's a great point, and I think you are very well on track to achieve that goal you've set out for yourself. So my next question to you would be: have you done? Do you feel like you've done everything you said you would do up to this point since coming back to Michigan?
No. I mean, I think for anybody that's in entertainment or somebody that is just creative or has a creative mind is never done. I mean, they're always going to be reinventing. They're always going to be coming up with things and have ideas to try and do more things. You know, if there's not enough time in the day, you know, I would like to write a few more books. I do want to come back to doing stand-up comedy and or work on some stand-up things, maybe like a stand-up comedy DVD, or go back to touring, the touring idea, because there are a lot of comedic friends of mine that I know I still, you know, look at on Facebook, and they're out there doing it. I mean, they're grinding. They're now touring. I have some friends that have worked with celebrities. One that was on Heart of the City with Kevin Hart, and one that works with All Def Digital a few times that I have worked with, named Ron Taylor. Shouts out to Ron. So I really have regrets because I'm spreading myself thin, doing a whole bunch. But I think I'm setting up for something big. You know, I'm harnessing and crafting my talent to perfect it to something to where I can manage it, and I'm growing a company where I don't have to do it alone, and I can be someone that's doing multiple things at once and gaining multiple revenue from different places. So I think that where I'm at now, it's good, but it's not where I want to be. So there is plenty more that I would like to do and am going to do. I mean, there's plenty of shows here on Bowie Films. I mean, I don't know how many shows we have currently. I mean, there's the story of, which I think is growing on. We're going into our 3rd season. We have Manny's Power Hour. You know, he doesn't have seasons, but he has a weekly show, and that is growing to something big. He has 21 and O podcast, which is growing to something big. We have a Legend Talks that's growing to become something big. And we have, I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, Filmatic. that's
Mhm.
growing to be something big. I mean, Filmatic has 70 episodes plus plenty other ones with Operating Table. You know, we're moving into hopefully getting to 100 this year, 100th episode, which is a monumental, I think, milestone for us. And I have several new shows that are supposed to be coming that are in the works. 3 new shows to come out this year. And that's Best Medicine season 2. Anybody that saw season 1, it was what it was. It was based on footage from a documentary that I had stopped doing for my stand up comedy, and just took clips from that and kind of put it together into a show. But I'm kind of reinventing that to something new that surrounds my comedy. So that's all I'll really tell you guys about that. Season 2 of Best Medicine is going to be something new, and it is going to be something special. Another show that I'm very excited for in terms of growing is a show called Sketch Artist. And I don't want to give too much about it, but if anybody has ever liked Chappelle's Show, if anybody has ever liked some of the skits that I have done, I think that when I get Sketch Artist out there, which is probably going to be end of the year, it's going to take some time to get that together. It's going to be phenomenal. And one of the biggest ones that we've already started filming, I'm about to pump it up a lot. Game Gods. Anybody that's a gamer, oh my god! I've been on YouTube for a long time. I've never seen anybody do this kind of concept, this kind of game, this kind of competition. And it's unique. It's funny. It's entertaining. To look at how big Twitch became, that people were willing to pay money to watch other people game. This concept has a couple of different ideas and concepts in it, and it's so fresh, so new, so unique, so good. I've already edited 4 episodes in. I think there's going to be a maximum of 16 episodes, so I'm hoping to get a lot more in. This show is straight fire. Trust me when I say I'm excited for it. And there's a couple other projects that are not fully greenlighted that are just ideas. So Bowie Films has a long way to go. Where we're at now is great, like I said, but where we are going is past the stars, I hope.
Okay, damn, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in all at once. You guys heard it here first, folks. Man, subscribe. I cannot stress this enough. Subscribe. Big things are coming, and this is a great way, a great place to sort of bring in another question for you. How do you feel that Bowie Films or yourself per se, has adapted to sort of the way entertainment has changed due to the pandemic, the worldwide pandemic? How do you think Bowie Films has adapted to that?
Well, obviously, look at. You're in Mexico, so that's a little
Right.
bit different story. But there are some people that are on the team, like Manny and whoever else, that are here, and most of our shows are via Zoom. I think with things changing, maybe we'll start to be back, face to face. I don't know if that would change the dynamic of things. I've kind of gotten used to the Zoom. But I feel like that person next to person kind of interaction is going to be best. You can reach out and kind of bullshit with high fives and everything versus just this same interaction. It's the same kind of show, I feel. Just to always see a Zoom. With you being in Mexico, I think this will always be like this for us on this show where it's Zoom. But some of these
Sure.
other shows, that's what would change the dynamic of what it looks like. Not every show will look like a Zoom because coming back from the pandemic, you're going to see a lot more one-on-one action, where we're right next to each other and we're doing the show together. And that's where I really want to be. I know it's a lot of time, a lot of gas, for people to do that. But the pandemic changed it to where it became just the same kind of show and hard for us to kind of make that different just based on like the topics or the how it's outlined to be for that show, what it's about, who's on it. So those things became a challenge struggling with the pandemic, and like I said, I look forward to re-eventing, the products that we already have at hand.
Okay, perfect. I like the enthusiasm. So you mentioned a few of the upcoming projects that are in the works, but let's talk big picture, little picture. for Michael Bowie, Bowie Films. What's in store? What's next? What's in the future? Big picture and little picture wise. What's in store? The next couple of months. What's in store 5 years down the road? Do you
Well,
have anything?
I briefly touched on it to say that I have a lot of different things. I hope to write a couple more books. I hope to come back to the stand-up comedy stage. I
Hmm.
hope to do all these shows, have about 4 or 5 more shows, maybe even grow 4 or 5 more people on the team and they're doing shows. So maybe there's 10, 15 shows going, and that's at a small time kind of thing. That's inside of the next couple of months, the next couple of years. Big term, where I would like to be, where I want this company to be, if I
Yeah.
can take it all on, if the company grows where it's kind of running as its own machine by itself, that I've gotten rid of the jobs, that money's coming in from the books. Maybe we've gotten thousands, millions of subscribers, and my book sales are through the roof. It's just constant money coming in. Then I can have a
Yeah.
little bit more time. I would have written 3 or 4 more books. Is big term within 10 years, and had those published. I would have returned to the stand up stage, maybe got
Okay.
together a tour, or just a consistent show schedule. Um, I probably would hand over some of the shows that I've been doing to people. So the company for YouTube is growing with monetization, and I'm still just managing the company overall, but there's still 15, 20 shows and some of the same shows and content that's on them. And maybe that grows to 20, 25 shows. Like I said, I want to be kind of the Netflix of YouTube. Everyone watches YouTube, everyone watches Netflix. So if you combine those, it becomes they're getting on YouTube to watch little shows, no different than they go and watch little bits or other things on YouTube, but it's a whole channel of different shows. So, and that's making money. That has a lot of views, a lot of subscribers, a lot of hits. That's long term. The dream. I mean, this entire season has been about me fulfilling my dream of acting.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I get the question all the time, will you ever go back to California?
Mm.
Long term, if I got shit together, money's coming in, enough to where I can go back to California, or maybe I'll just chill out here. Long term, maybe go back to California, or I don't know, just grow this to an empire.
So okay, and this I feel like you're building up to what sort of to close out the show. I guess this is my last question for you anyway. No rush. But my next question to you was gonna be: do you think you'll ever walk away from the entertainment industry?
No, no, it's
Why?
it's in my blood. I could say, would you stop celebrating Cinco de Mayo?
All right, all right. First of all, just stick to the topic. All right, stick to the topic.
I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no. It's in your blood. It's in your blood. It's in your heritage. It's in my blood to entertain. It's in my blood to make people laugh. It's in my blood to be my own boss, to build something big, for other people to grow with me together. Not many people are out here to help others, and I don't want to just grow by myself. I want to grow with a team and see it grow to something big. So yeah, this would never go away. It would never stop. I would never quit. I don't care how. I was looking at, shouts out to Eminem. I was looking at his new song Killer remix, and I don't know how old Eminem is now. What, he 49, 48, 47, something like
No,
that?
he's got to be well into his 50s now.
I think he's not 50 yet. I think he's getting up there. But I'm thinking, like, when is Eminem going to hang it? Does he really need to hang it up? He could do another 20 years. Eminem could be 80 years old still killing it on the fucking mic. That's me. I'm not hanging it up. 90 years old, still doing YouTube. Still doing stand-up comedy. Still writing books or writing. It's what I love. I can't see a world without it. For me.
Definitely. Okay, I like that. I like that answer. And with that, I guess we bring to a close what has been, I feel like, yet another successful season on the story of. Now, before we go, Michael, uh, obviously you and I, we've been learning. We've gone through this process through the first season of the story of. We are now closing again a successful second season, the story of Michael Bowie. At the beginning of this video, you got us hyped up. You got us a little, a little. You gave us a little taste as to what to expect. What's next for the story of? What do you think is gonna happen for the third season? What can we expect as viewers? I mean, I know that I'm gonna, you and I are gonna be co-hosting, but what can we as viewers expect for the third season of the story of?
I don't. I mean, every episode is a journey, and every
Mm-hmm.
season is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
So on this path, we're going to have two different journeys that we're going to be traveling along, and I don't know what people should expect, but I can tell you what I hope for, and I
Okay.
hope that it just grows to something bigger. This show, I think, has a lot of potential. Like I've always said, in your season and my season, everyone has a story to tell, and the next person, I think, in my opinion, has a unique story. And granted, it's a familiar face. If you watch Bowie films or anything, it's a familiar face. But we're going to eventually run out of familiar faces, and we're going to jump into people that we don't know and people that we do know but don't know a lot about, and we're going to learn about a lot of different people and their story and what they've been through. And I think that is just a value for people to listen to, because I think that we judge a book by its cover without
Mm-hmm.
having have read their story. No pun
Mm-hmm.
intended. And the story of is one of those shows where it would just broaden your knowledge on other people around you and the things that they go through, and maybe even question or think about the things that you as an individual do and say with others. How you treat people, how you go about life. And so I think that there's so much value inside of the show. I want to see it grow. We are definitely going to, I know for you and I, we're going to try and reinvent this each season and make it different and more entertaining every single time that we have a new guest on here. Every single episode, we are always trying to up the ante. From the far distance that we have between you and I, we are going to make this something big, and I really think it will be. I just hope that everyone continues to tune in. If you're interested in sharing your story, if you have had a blast hearing about Manny's story and about my story, and you want to share your story, you've been through some shit, you have some stuff to talk about, a really big thing that has happened in your life, and we want to build up to that and learn about that, hit us up. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Maybe we'll touch base with you and get you on the show, because I know everyone, I don't care who it is, everyone has a story to tell.
Perfect. I like that. So you guys heard it here. We can expect. I feel like big things from this show, the story of right. We've said it once. We've said it twice. Michael said it just now. Everyone has a story to tell. That's what we're here to do. We're here to let uh, people tell their stories, and hopefully you as viewers can connect to these stories. Hopefully somebody out there trying to find their way through the entertainment industry can take Michael's story and just use it to an advantage. I feel like Michael has a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience in the entertainment industry. So he can definitely give you a fresh perspective through these videos that you've just heard. We just covered a whole season on his journey in the entertainment industry. So make sure to watch every one of his videos. If you are out there and you're thinking, hey, what's next for me in the entertainment industry? How do I get started? What can I expect from it? Are other people going through a tough time in the entertainment industry? Watch these videos. Michael Bowie gave us a great insight on his story, making it in the entertainment industry. Granted, it's still a journey, right? That we hope Michael will continue and eventually find the success that he is looking for. We hope that somebody was inspired by this season, right? At least if one person was inspired by this season, then I feel like we've done our job with the story of, right? Which was to share people's stories and hopefully have people relate to those stories. So to close out the season, Michael, I will let you um, leave us with one last message here on the story of Michael Bowie.
Shouts out to El Cinco de Mayo. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Well, that's it for us, folks. No, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
No, but on a real tip, I mean, I've said it all, and you've said it perfectly. Inspiration is definitely what this season is about, and I hope that many people were inspired, and that they're out there doing their damn thing just as much as I am. But please, please, for this dream to even have a 10-year down the road path, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. I mean, our subscribers, our numbers have stopped with subscribers, but we are about to push again with promotion, especially with new shows coming out. So please, if you're just coming in here and you've gotten this far, just click subscribe. That will mean a lot to us on the story of and the people that are affiliated with Bowie Films. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's all I got for you guys. It's been a blast sitting here and sharing my story.
Perfect. We'll see you guys in the third season. Again, subscribe, like, comment on the video. Stay tuned, man. Great things are coming. To everybody watching at home, tuning in, we thank you guys. See you next time.
Whatever you do, don't hurt me, please. I'm at your mercy. Trust, don't let me down. Trust, don't let me down.
Like it. Give me 1 second. I like it. I liked it.